Hello everybody and welcome back. It's Creative Redundancy, also known, and then you can all call me CR. Of course, I'm back with another live stream. Now, this is going to be a chit chat about survivalism, bush type of related topics, and preparedness. Plus chit chat, of course. Now, I'm no expert in survivalism, this bushcrafting, or preparedness. I'm just trying to learn more and put that knowledge into something constructive. Now I'll just let the chat kind of build up here while I charge up the battery. Drops shit. Alright, well, while I'm waiting for a few people to drop in, might as well share a picture here that I took last year. Not quite around this time, but more or less around this time. Some pictures of some geese. I think, how many is there? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So baker's dozen 13. What's up, So Steve? What's up, man? How's it going? I'm gonna remove the slow-mo for now. I said no slow-mo, Steve. Oh, I'm doing quite well, So Steve. Thank you for asking. Alright, it's time to whip out. I'm actually gonna bring up the older intro that I have here instead. One of my original intro here. Bring that up. And bang! Here I am. Probably don't get warm while I'm doing this live stream, so pardon me. I think I might as well just take off the jacket. Let me whip up the side chat here so I can see it here. Just bear with me. Let me pop up the chat here so I can see what's going down. Alright. So Steve, you'll see glimpse few things. I do have inventing, more like creating. Yeah. Here's an atlatl spear thrower I'm trying to make. I guess that counts for something. I don't know, I got some Ranger bands on the end. So if I wanted to, I could go like that and be like, have I ever made one? No. But I was just like, hey, because I was just cutting some stuff. I was just like, oh, hey, wait a second. Let's try this out. I never made an atlatl, but but I was just like, yeah, why not? It might be a little bit short though. Could be longer, but of course this is just, first time. I'm pretty sure next time I try to make one, it'll probably be much better. I'll remember things that not to do and things to do, so I'm doing more of those things that should be doing. So, I mean, that's something right there. Oh, you mean the dart? Hey, yeah. I still have to make the dart for it. I mean, I was just trying it out with some sticks I had, like this. I was just trying it out, just seeing if it would work. It seems like it would, so, I mean, if I put nice tip, some feathers or duct tape type of fledgings on it, it would probably go straight and a greater distance. Probably increase my accuracy and all that stuff. You're a terrible shot. I think the first time not an atlatl, but archery in general was back in school. I was never the best at it, but who knows? Maybe now I would be better just because I kind of know more about it. I mean, I fired a slingshot before with a couple of friends. I got one too. Sometimes I mess around with that. I haven't messed around with it for a while though. I mean, I got one on the I got one right here. Slingshot. So I've kind of played around with it. I mean, hopefully one of these days I'll get better. Hey, now, if I really got good at it, maybe I'll make like some sort of case or something like a quiver so I can put my arrows or darts into. Actually, that might not be such a bad idea. I do have something that I might be able to use or make a quiver from. It might not be like a bushcraft type of thing made from wood, but it might be using some sort of reclaimed type of PVC or something like that. Tubing or something similar. Oh yeah, they probably had to. Well, I mean, the amount that you're kind of projecting out there, so you have more chances of hitting a target. I mean, per se, let's say in in medieval times, yeah, one archer? No, it was hundreds of archers, and they're firing arrows, or people with crossbows firing them. Where probably get like, let's say 10 archers could probably get like 20 arrows on target every 30 seconds, or give or take. I don't know. Well, again, with that kind of stuff like slingshots, or using a bow, like a recurve bow, a short bow, a long bow. I mean, you need that strength to pull it back, right? You need that strength. If you don't have it, you're not gonna be able to pull that back. I mean, it's one thing to have a bow, but it's totally different trying to use one that's not 30-pound, but like 100-pound draw weight, where you're like, you can't even pull it back. Because the higher the draw weight is, the more force you can put into the projectile, like an arrow. Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. Keep tapping out. I keep trying to bring OBS to the front and not the YouTube. But I do have the chat on the side here, so I can see exactly what everyone's writing. So, I mean, I'm seeing those kind of modifications you can do with like a slingshot to fire arrows. I haven't tried that yet, but I assume it would work if I did it right. I might do that for that slingshot, just maybe have it on the side where I can just add it on. So I've been thinking about it. And coming back to this ad battle, I mean, I have even... Jeez, my light source is so bright. Let me tilt it up a bit so you could see it better. I've actually smoothed this out, and kind of near where the notch would be, I kind of made it deeper. So depending on what kind of dart I'm throwing. I mean, of course, like I said, this is just a first time practice. Something I wanted to try first. Hopefully, whatever I've learned from doing this, I can apply it to the next one. So instead of taking like 20 minutes to do it, it only takes me 5 minutes to make it. Oh, hey, thanks, man. Thanks. Another thing that I want to come back and doing and trying out, like, I've done smoke from friction fire before, but I haven't been no coal or amber blown into flame yet. Now, oh yeah, exactly. Learning curve like anything. One thing I want to get into is the friction fire. So I have my spindle right here. Now, skateboard wheel. So a bearing block to put on the top. Of course, everyone knows that a bearing block that's made from like a skateboard wheel will have quite little friction, because the bearings will spin. So if I put my spindle through it, put that on my board, and well, get a bow of some sort with some cordage, wrap it around. I mean, I've tried this before, and specifically this spindle, because this is a spindle that I haven't tried yet, but hopefully soon I'll try this. But I have tried out and used the skateboard wheel. It was alright. I may try to increase the bulk of it so it's easier in my hand, so I don't have to grab it like this. So I want to expand it a little so I can grab my whole hand around it. I mean, this is just a skateboard wheel I found. I found it at a skate park. Those guys that's another thing I like about going to the skate park every so often. Sometimes people break their boards, they ditch them, but the skateboard wheel itself could be useful. I mean, what can't I do with a wheel that spins? I mean, it's a wheel. There's lots of things I can do with that. No, thanks, man. So, something that's in the works. This is a piece of bamboo. I'll have to see if it can work. I'm not sure yet, but I kind of smoothed it out. I basically just used some. Of course, now I don't have it. So basically, I would use some sort of cardboard. Go like this. Using the cardboard to kind of smooth it out. So basically, now if I use power tools like a drill, I can easily get this nice and smooth. So let's say if I was making something or something. Use Dean. I don't know what Dean. I know Dean in real life, but not on my online presence. And hello, Megan. Hi. Thank you for taking the time to drop in. I appreciate it. So yeah, basically I use the cardboard just to smooth it out. Just so it's actually cylinder in shape, or cylindrical. Yeah, I've never been good at pronouncing stuff, but you guys know what I mean. And basically, I narrowed one side so I can actually fit it into the skateboard wheel. And this side would spin, use a bow drill, or bow I should say, and basically drill it into the wood and hopefully do it fast enough to create an amber, which I could glue into flame. Like I said, I'm not with this specific spindle, but I have gotten smoke from this before. Now, some people, they might be really good at friction fire, but one thing is for sure, it's very exhausting. I mean, I know other people have tried it and haven't been able to do it. I mean, it is exhausting doing bow drill or friction fire, because you gotta, get the temperature high enough where it wants to, per se, start smoking and burning. Where you gotta have that. Yes, exactly, Megan, thank you. Where you gotta have enough friction going to create, coal and amber. Oh yeah, exactly. Exactly. So Steve, it is one of the hardest. I mean, it makes everything else look easy. Makes solar look easy. Makes flint and steel look easy. And of course it makes a ferro rod or an open flame like a match or a lighter really easy. I mean, those are easy. Okay. So yeah, just one I've been playing with. I'll probably try it a little bit later, but I need to make the board half board. I think that's what it's called. So basically, we go in like this, spin it, probably with a bow drill. Now, one thing I want to try out is I think it's a pump. I've been considering that. Now, I probably could use this piece with it, but basically, instead of using a bowl to doing it, you're using like heavy cordage and well, basically it will look like this, and basically the stick can spin, but you can apply pressure downwards, and basically you're pumping it. Like, I forget the technical term. It's like a pump drill, but anyways, it's used for fire making. I want to try that too, so because I've heard that's actually easier than bow drill. And of course, bow drill is probably easier than trying to do hand drill. Do that itsy bitsy slider thing. I've never been able to do that. And I heard, and it hurts your hands after a while and stuff like that. And blisters and all that stuff. But oh yeah, exactly. So Steve, all of the stuff has to work. If one thing doesn't work, if you're getting too much friction up in the bearing block, you're gonna lose the friction at the bottom. If the wood's too moist, it's not gonna work. Because all the heat, friction heat, is not going to drying out the wood or evaporating the water or the moisture. Pardon me. Megan, you're totally into solar. Megan, you should see how much solar I got. Not solar power, but solar ignition. I mean, later on when I show off some of these other kits, you'll see a lot more solar. I mean, like even right now, just whip one out. I got one of these magnification type of lenses, credit card size. Very useful. So, now let's see if I can actually do this here. Yeah, nope, didn't have to be. Let's see. Okay. So, this red side, here's the yellow side. Now the red side has the ridges, so you can hear it. The yellow side, smooth. So let's see if I can do this here. I've shown this before, but let's see. Yeah, I think my light source is too close to me. I'm not gonna be able to notice the difference, but I've shown that off in the solar ignition video. There's a difference. There's a difference between the ridge side and the smooth side. I tend, most of the time, say, aim the ridge side towards the light source. So, for solar ignition, towards the sun. Because the ridges bend the light. Because I have a solar video that you'll notice the difference between using the ridge side towards the light source, like the sun, or the smooth side. You'll notice the difference between the focal point and how quickly it does it. Of course, I figured with these lenses, there's like a little clear spot right here, so I decided to just add reflectors on. So when I'm grabbing it, I know exactly which side to aim, towards the light source. So red towards the light source. And I put this yellow reflective stuff on, so if I have to signal or gain attention, I got something like this, right? And because these lenses are clear, if I dropped it in the water for, let's say, a lake, stream, or whatever, because it's clear, I might not even see it in the water, just because it's clear. As soon as I drop this in the water, it'll kind of be invisible. So that's why I added these on. So even if I drop it in water, let's say in the snow, for example, I've done solar ignition in snow too, in the winter too, it's easier for me to see this. So, of course, I just got it around this little protective case that I made from like vinyl, so it doesn't get scratched up and stuff like that. Let me put it back in my belt here. Spills. I know. So Steve, what do you mean by different spills? I can understand the diameter. I mean, I have lenses that are as big as people. Then I have, lenses that are paper size, 8 by 11. Well, actually, they're like 7 by 10. And I think I have like a 5 by 7 too. Then I have very, very small type of magnification glasses. And of course, I got reflectors too that are parabolic in shape, which I can get in a little bit here. Well, Megan, I didn't even realize you were into solar. It's the first time I've ever heard you say that. Oh, okay. Thank you. I'll keep that in mind. So, since I'm talking about solar, and it's nighttime. I mean, here's the solar lens right here. Here's a compact right here. Oh, what am I saying? Lens. It's a reflector. Parabolic in shape, so it's curved. So when the light enters it, it bounces this towards the middle. So let's see here. So, obviously it's not sunlight, but you get the idea. I mean, and one always thinks about these lenses for solar ignition. There are a few more secondary uses for them, such as, as I whip it back out here, something like this can be used to see things a little bit closer. Maybe you got a tick on your arm and you're trying to see it. Your vision's not as good. You don't have your glasses. So you're trying to be like, oh, I can't see that. Something like this might help. Now another thing you can do is if the lens is bigger, let's say 5 by 7 or one of those paper 7 by 10 sheet sizes, you can use it like a fan, like this. So, you could fan yourself, maybe fan your fire. Now, if you're fanning a fire, let's say, I'm going to use this inner tube. This was the fire. Since heat rises, when I fan, let's see, make sure I'm free. I fan like this to get the air going down and coming up. Not like this. So, not like this, but like this. So, I'm pushing the air into the base, and it'll naturally rise. Because if you aim down, you're pushing the flames down. I'm trying to raise the heat up. The flames up. So that's how I fan a fire. Going like this. And not like this. Does that make sense? Hello, Joran. And thank you for taking the time to drop by, man. I appreciate it. Oh, that's awesome, Megan. That's awesome that you're getting better, feeling better. Maybe not 100% yet, but, getting better. Better is always better progress. Maybe next time, Megan. I wasn't planning to have a panel. It's because if I have a panel, then I need to wear headphones. But maybe next time. Next time. I've been considering on having a panel for my live streams. At least for some of them. So, alright. Oh, yeah. I can't believe I put out the lens, put away the lens already. Another thing you can do with these lenses, now, for this, it works better with the reflectors, I find, and generally with a bigger lens, it works better, but, kind of some, I think, 18th century type of tech, but basically, everyone knows what a lighthouse is, right? Now, of course, now I can't find my flashlight. Hold on a sec. Let me get something here. Well, I don't need a flashlight because this will actually work with a lighter too, but you'll see what I mean. Because these lenses, or reflector, now this works better with reflector, because they bend light, because also it bends light for solar ignition, and because you can see things closer up, light reflecting back, you can magnify light. Let's say you don't have the best flashlight. It doesn't zoom. Maybe you're using some really very tiny single bulb, little button battery powered light source. So, I'll show the lighter first. Then I'll show what this air light source I have. So, like I said, ridge lines, so the red on this side, facing towards the light source. You'll see what I mean. Now, you'll see my wall behind me. You should be able to see that, hopefully. Okay, now you probably didn't see that, so I'll use an actual light source. This is kind of how bright it is. Can't see it on the wall, but use a magnification type of lens. I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up here. I know I can see it on the wall. Oh yeah, you can see that. I know I saw that because I could see it in the OBS, so you should be able to see that. Now, if I had my air light flashlight here, I thought I had it. Of course. Of course I don't see it. I should have prepared better for this. I just had it. Well, anyways, you get the idea. So pretty much, it's projecting the light further away and a decrease of diameter or brightness, but it extends the beam a little bit more. So similar to these kind of flashlights that have the adjustable zoom, it's the same concept. It's just not everyone has a flashlight that has a good reflector inside, or one that has a zoom function like this one right here. Which I also have, these type of reflectors on them, just because this is black. It's a light source. If I need the light, it might be dark or a little light, where I'd be like, oh, where's my flashlight? I'll be like, oh, hey, I see it. Now, this thing right here, I randomly found this, and it just happened to randomly fit on this flashlight, and right there, it's a clip. So basically, obviously, I could do that for some hands-free. Now, I don't have batteries in here right now, but yeah, I don't have the batteries in here. Do I? No. Nope. No batteries. But yeah, I was just like, I just found this. I was just like, what can I do with this? Then I bring it back home. Then I'm like, oh, awesome! It fits over this flashlight, and now I can, keep them there. And now I can, if I'm wearing a cap or something, I can have hands free or clip it onto me or something like that. Thanks, Dora. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. So, anyone have any questions about, since I was talking about lenses, these magnification lenses, glass, if it's made from glass, or a reflector, or about solar ignition? Now's a good time to ask. Try to get make it more interactive, ask you guys a question. So I'll put that there. So I'll take some questions from you guys. Of course, I took notes, so anyone watching the replay can ask too in the comments. Joran. I wish it was nice. It's only basic. Nothing wrong with basic, but I mean, I got more elaborate, per se, better gear. I mean, some of these lenses, this was gifted to me. Some of the other lenses I have, which, you know, I'll show one. Right here, I bought this at a thrift store for like $2. I can get this something similar in this size for $2 at the dollar store. Let's see. So basically, this is I think this should be 5x7. Let me get my tape measure out here. Oh, thank goodness. Because I like to create so much, I've realized how nice it is to everyday carry EDC a tape measure. So I actually EDC a tape measure. So yeah, it's 5x7. 5x7 inches, or you know, no, actually it's not 5 inches, it's actually 4.25, but anyways. Now, the bigger the lenses, the easier it is. And especially in like marginal sun, thin cloud, maybe there's a haze, maybe, you know, there's smoke in the air. As long as it's bright enough, solar can work. And the bigger the lens is, the bigger the focal point is, and it can handle marginal sun, you know, where it's maybe sunny breaks, thin cloud, partly cloudy. Because the smaller it is, the less light you're gathering in. And the bigger the lens is, reflector or glass, the more light you can gather in, which means your focal point's gonna have more heat. Light, heat, infrared heat. So as I put my geez, the circle's real today. As I put my tape measure away here. Alright. Oh, hey, thank you guys, thank you. But this is stuff I learned back when I was in school. I was just like, I just kind of applied it to, per se, this kind of stuff, where I feel like it makes sense to me. I'd be like, oh yeah. So let me put this one back. Like over here in Canada or in the US, over at Dollar Tree, you can actually, I just realized I probably do not have anyone in the US right now, do I? Because you guys all do not live in North America. I just realized that. You guys, but anyways, over at the Dollar Tree, I can get like a 7x10 magnification lens for just over $1. I have a bunch of those in my kits too, especially if I can fit them in. Because generally, if I have more room, like surface area, like a backpack, a pouch, I try, or like let's say if I have a fire tin, for example, like, okay, this is not a fire kit, but let's say I'm using this case right here. If this was for a fire kit, if I want to put solar in here, I would put the biggest lens I can fit in here. That way, even in not clear skies, I might have a better chance just because I have more surface area for the light to gather and hopefully get solar ignition, you know, get an amber going and get enough heat into the system where I can blow it in a flame. Because you'll notice later on when I show off some of the kits or bags that I have, you'll see that I have big, you know, magnification lenses in there. Just because, well, I got the space, I got the room. I don't need a really small card. I might as well just go a little bit bigger. Might be an increase in weight, of course, and in size, but I can do more. Especially some of those bigger lenses. Some of my 10 ones, huh, no fan of fire for myself, even better. Because they're so much bigger, solar ignition's gonna be easier. Where I probably could just use a 7x10 lens and probably get a flame from it. Unlike these credit card lenses where you're probably not gonna get a flame started. Unless the tinder's really, really good. So, since I'm talking about fire here for solar ignition, now, I guess before I get into it, I see when I think of fire and solar, specifically solar ignition, I would consider them on the same coin, just on the different side, because they can do very similar things. It is possible. I mean, I've seen those solar ovens, right? They can cook. You can burn stuff. I mean, hell, some of these people that live closer to the equator, some of these kind of bigger channels that do solar, I mean, I've seen them melt glass, melt metals with them. I've tried that here with some of the bigger ones I have. I've been able to melt aluminum, but I can't, per se, melt steel or something like copper, which has a higher melting point than aluminum. Probably because either my setup's not exact, where I'm getting the focal point onto the target, or because my latitude, since I live up much above the 49 parallel, let's just say. Oh, should remember to put the lighter away. Yeah, I always forget when I'm showing stuff or doing a video. Gotta put the stuff away, so it's there the next time I need it. That's an important thing. Because if you're scavenging or ransacking something, sometimes you forget to put it back. It's not gonna be there when you need it when you go back to it. So I'm gonna put this away. I mean, what I was gonna say was, oh yeah. Now I consider solar as what I like to say a heat method for fire starting. To go with a flame source, like the lighter I just showed, Zippo, store matches, regular matches, paper matches, strike anywhere type of matches, and of course ways to generate sparks, like a ferro rod. Could be a dead lighter, could be flint and steel, or you're a piece of steel and a piece of flint, and you're going like this, and you see sparks coming off, something like that. All the way to, let's say, like a sparkler. That gives off sparks. Now, you have to light it up differently, but it shoots out hot sparks stuff. And to go with the heat methods, I usually, for me, I consider friction fires like bow drill, the pump, like I was kind of saying earlier to So Steve, hand drill, those fire rolls, which I haven't tried out yet. I've actually tried it off camera, but I haven't gotten it there yet. I think you need a bigger board. I think I was using too small of a board. I mean, I was trying it out with like a piece of cotton. Putting some ash in there or something and trying to roll it between two boards, generate friction, and when you open it up, it's supposed to smoke a little, and then you can blow it into flame. Haven't gotten that yet. Hopefully one of these days. So I consider heat methods solar, friction fire, and these chemical fires are exothermic type of reactions as a scientific type of term. So, potassium permanganate and glycerol. So, I consider those as heat sources or heat methods of fire starting, because they're not really a flame, or they can generate a flame after, and they're not a spark. I mean, for me, I would consider like I mean, sometimes it doesn't really fall into a flame or a spark, so I'm like, well, maybe it's a heat source, a heat method. And of course, everyone knows that you need heat to generate a fire, where it's friction, chemicals coming together, a hot spark, like from a ferro rod, or an open flame from a lighter. I'm trying to remember that video, So Steve. It's hard to remember whose video I watch. Usually I tend to remember if I've seen it, I tend to remember it, so since I can't remember it, unfortunately, I'm sorry, probably have not seen it, or it's so common that I'll be like, oh yeah, I've seen that. I probably could go back to it right now and be like, oh yeah, I've seen it. I already left a thumbs up. I must have seen it. Because if I've seen the video, there's a thumbs up. Most likely. So yeah, I mean, now, some air channels, survival related type of channels, they usually say lighter, ferro rod, magnifying glass. I kind of refined it more simplistic as flame spark and a heat source. So, flame, lighter, sparks from a ferro rod, and a heat source such as solar. Let me have a sip of coffee here. Yeah, that's good coffee. I'm almost empty on the cup. I gotta refill it soon. Well, yeah, that's another thing about now. I guess cold sort of affects heat to a certain degree because the outside temperature is colder. I mean, I think I can. I've never tried these chemical or exothermic type of reactions for it, so my knowledge behind it or experience is very limited. It's only from what I've seen, but just because I've seen something doesn't mean anything to me, because I haven't seen it with my own eyes. Done my own kind of testing, where I'd be like, oh, where I can kind of rationalize or explain it to myself and be like, oh, see, that's what this means. You know, now I am understanding it, since I've actually had a chance to try it out for myself and see it with my own hands, see it with my own eyes. You know, hear the hissing, whatever, or smelling this smoke or whatever. Well, I do know for solar it is possible still to use it during the winter time. It is possible, I know that. Now, most likely it has to be fairly sunny out for it, but I have done solar emission in the winter time. Something that maybe these exothermic type of chemical reaction fires or fire starting methods or friction fire might be harder. If it's sunny out, well, solar's gonna be probably easier. And let's just remember, if it's, let's say it's clear out, well, I could just sit there or set up something like a stick or whatever for hands-free. Sun's doing the work for me. I'm not messing around with air stuff, let's just say. I mean, obviously, if you really wanted to get your fire going, you'll probably still feather some sticks, shavings, increase the surface area and stuff like that. That's what, another thing I've noticed about solar is it's different from doing it than from a ferro rod. It's usually with a ferro rod or sparks, like a dead lighter or whatever. Usually the tinder has to be fine and usually fluffy. Well, with solar, since it's a heat source, similar to like a laser type of beam, right? You know, you can kind of, it's focus light, focus heat. You're trying to create an amber. So usually when for solar, if I'm not using char cloth or char punk wood, which char cloth, char punk wood, they all work with a flame spark or heat source. I mean, if you had char cloth with a bow drill, hey, that's a amber extender. But anyways, usually with solar, I try to remember, let's say I had inner barks of something, whatever, XYZ tree. You know, I don't even know what kind of tree it is, but the characteristics are the thing I'm looking for. So it's dry, it's fibrous. So what I would do is tear it up, work in my hands, make a very, very tight ball, use that ball, and focus some concentrated solar thermal energy, sunlight into it, and get that to start burning and make an amber from that. Then bring that ball, which is now going to be a coal or a big amber, into a birds or tinder type of bundle. Then try to blow that into flame. That's the way I would do it. I mean, one of the last few times that I've tried out solar, I mean, I've done solar as late as, in the summertime, as late as like 8 o'clock in the evening. I mean, I remember because there's like a very small window of opportunity between trees, and I was just like, okay, I only have probably like 10 minutes at max before the sun goes down more or before the shadows cover, the area I'm in. I was just like, I did the exact same thing, like I just said. Took the inner barks of XYZ tree. I don't even know, because I found it on the ground. It was kind of not rotted, but it was kind of brown, but dry-ish. So I rip it apart, roll it into a nice tight ball, maybe use a little bit of friction to dry it out a little. Get that coal going, blow it into flame. I mean, even with the solar, sometimes I remember to add some body heat into it. So rub it in my hands, not only to break it down, but to add a little bit of heat energy into it. So let's say what I'm picking up isn't totally 100% dry, maybe adding some friction heat from rubbing my hands together, rubbing it together, might dry it out a little bit more, so it's a little bit easier. I mean, I've tried it out before, in the morning time, one time, where I was trying it out, it rained or there was dew on the ground the night before or something like that. It was moisture on the ground. I tried it twice. The first time, I did this whole rubbing thing. I think I put it underneath my armpit, the tinder and the inner barks. Yeah, that worked great. I tried it again, like 10 minutes later, without doing that stuff. Could not do it. Even with solar ignition, I was using the same ignition source, right? Solar ignition didn't even work. It just smoked. I couldn't blow it into flame. So, sometimes rubbing, using body heat, using friction a little to, it might help. So, ever since that, I'm always convinced that, a couple of seconds of this, 10 seconds of this, 10 seconds of this, or while you're gathering up more stuff, put it underneath your armpit, or use body heat to dry it up. It might help. Like you see it on the shows, on those survival type of shows. Some people talk about it, but I'm more convinced about it now. I mean, obviously, if it's pouring out rain and it's soaking wet, well, that's not gonna help that much. But let's say, quick sun shower might help. Put some pitch on your hand. Okay. Oh yeah, okay. I can for more grip, right? So, oh yeah, because you're not sliding so much. So if I had, okay, yeah, okay. I'll definitely try that out if I ever do. If I ever do hand drill, but I want to get either the bow drill or the pump type of friction fire methods first because they're easier. I figure I might as well start easy before I start venturing to like hand drill or something like that, or a fire saw. Those probably are more exhausting. I mean, if bow drill's this exhausting, I can just imagine hand drill or saw fire thingy or whatever. Yeah, exactly. More grip. Sorry, I keep having to check, just making sure. I think my connection's pretty good now compared to earlier. So doesn't look like I'm on the DC or disconnect here, so that's good. So yeah, I mean those are just little tiny things that I learned. Not real suitable for a video, but you know, I'll add the story into this live stream. Something, you know, where I actually experienced it and actually noticed the difference. Kind of doing a test, scientific type of test, where the only thing I changed or manipulated was doing this with the tinder or the inner arcs, and it made a difference. It made a difference. I mean, I got, when I did that the first time, it worked. It helped. Second time I didn't do it, no fire, just smoke that's not going anywhere. I mean, I guess that'd be fine if you're driving bugs away, but if you need an open flame or trying to get an actual fire started, nah, that probably wouldn't have worked. I probably would have had to like do more, put more effort into it. So, leave me one on the screen if you want to see some more stuff, or leave me two if you want me to go into more information. So, one if you want to see stuff like gear, or two if you want to kind of discuss about kind of knowledge. Now, while you guys are thinking about that, you know, gear, it's one of those things like, it's nice to have. Obviously, you know, if you're in a survival type of situation, yeah, honestly, a big lighter is going to be very, very useful, because you don't have to rely on friction fire. You got an open flame source. You got a light source. But let's say you don't have that, or you find a pick, but it's dead. You know, like, you find a lighter, it's got no fuel in it, but you still have the ability to generate a spark. That's where knowledge would take over, or experience, because, you know, hey, I might not have a flame with this lighter, but I still have a spark. I just have to find some sort of tinder, or create tinder, that can catch that spark. So let's say you're using lint that you have on your clothes, you're wearing jeans, so you had a knife with you, or a rock, and you're just kind of trying to get that kind of surface cotton off, get big enough of it, and try to ignite it. Or let's say you find something like cattail, for example, which is a flash tinder, which would actually take the spark from it and go from there. So Steve wants to be, alright, I guess it's gonna be gear. I guess I'll kind of put two in there, but alright, so Steve, let me move a few things here. I got so much stuff laying around. Oh, I guess, so Steve, I'll show you this. So right here, braided plastic, which is actually more known as plarn. So plastic yarn, plarn, P-L-A-R-N. Now, the funny thing is, I actually learned about braiding plarn from the crafting channels, but I kind of adapted it to, well, using it. And adapting what I call what's known as the zipper chain Sinet method of braiding, interlocking loops, and stuff like that. I mean, I got it on my belt, I got it everywhere. So basically, I adapted some sort of braiding with crafting, and now I got this. And of course I can use this as cordage. Now, the more strands I add into this, the stronger it'll become. Now, this is not gonna be per se better or thinner or stronger than, you know, commercially bought parachute type of cordage, bank line, you know, etc., etc. But I can make a lot of this just from scraps, at least here in Canada for me. But anyways, oh, I guess, yeah, see, there's more of the zipper chains in it. And basically I took a piece of PVC tubing that I acquired, and basically what I did was I attached tape to it. So now I got all this tape here. Yeah, I guess I could just walk out with this. So I can just hang this up. If I need some tape, I'd be like, okay. And as I try to hold it still here, so you can see the PVC type of tubing here. Now, another thing I've adapted is that zipper chain, not zipper chains in it, the Canadian jam knot or the arbor knot. So not only is this braided, but I got the arbor or Canadian jam knot. It's a form of slip knot. So I could just go like this. If I need one, let's say I need the Gorilla Tape, I can just pull it off, start using it, use as much as I need, take it where I need it, and put this back on. And this will lock back in, secure back in, and the stopper knot will prevent it from coming undone. And basically, I have that on to the side, so I can move the tape, hang it, whatever. Didn't spend any money on it. Actually, I didn't spend any money on it, because the cordage I found, the PVC was donated to me. The plastic bags I found for it, even the actual orange type of cordage, it was just, I think it was already one I had that I braided from before, so just something I have. And of course I can put more tape on it, stuff like that. If I actually had a lot of tape, I'll just use a new or longer piece of PVC type of tubing and maybe extend the cordage a little bit more. Well, Joran, it's one of the ways. I have another video on storing tape, like that's to store rolls in a backpack, pouch, Altoids, you know, these tins. I tend to either, well, there's 3 other ways I know of for storing tape in those systems or setups. Now, everyone's familiar with like the card method, where you would use something stiff like a card and roll it around, put it around it. That's fine. I mean, I got one. Yeah, see, here's a roll of duct tape around a card. So, pardon me. So like, old debit card, old credit card, maybe it's an old library card, old key card from a hotel. You can do something like this. Now, you can put a lot on here. It's fairly thin for what it is, But if you want, like, let's say for some reason I need 5 feet of it, for whatever reason, I don't know why. Now, I should have did this the last time I used it, but another tip here for anyone watching or whatever: put a tab, like basically fold it back on itself. That way it's easier to find the end. But if I needed 5 feet or a lot of it, it might be a little bit slower of doing it because you gotta unwind it from side to side to side and side. I'll put this back on. Now let me get something here. It's actually outside the room. So another way of storing tape is kind of using something round, like a pen. Now, I've adapted it. You kind of notice how it's similar to that whole big amount of tape I had. It's very similar, so to speak. But basically, now I like to add cordage onto it because it's like something like, you know, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't per se have to be anything fancy because it's not load bearing or weight bearing. So I have some grill tape around here. Now the beauty of this is the deployment of something like this is much faster. Let's say I need 3 feet. Because it's rolled around something that's round and hollow, so I could stick cordage in here. I could hold this right here and be like, how much do I need? Right? And just pull. Look how fast that is. I mean, look how fast. I'm not gonna unroll this because honestly I'm not using it, but you know, you get the idea. That's another way of storing tape, which I've shown in a video already. I'll try to end screen it or whatever. I'm sorry guys, just give me 1 sec. For some reason I'm hearing something and I'm not sure where it's coming from. Just give me a sec. As a safety precaution, right? Make sure I know what's going. Just give me a sec guys, I'm sorry. Just give me a sec. Alright, sorry about that guys. Sorry about that. I heard noises outside. Had to check it, right? Can't be too precautious. It's okay. It's nothing. I know exactly what it was. So, it's all good. Alright, so coming back to it. Where did I just put it? Oh, yeah. So, coming back to this. Now this is faster to deploy and you know how as much length as you need. You know, whatever's on the roll. The downside of this, it's not very compact and it's quite bulky. So I like to, you know, hang this on the outside of a bag where I have more room. So something like this, pretty not for a tin, not like for an Altoids or a puzzle or tins like that, those sizes, because they'll take up quite a bit of room. Now, another way I like to store tape. Now, I generally like to store tape this way. Now the only, let's see, I should have a little here. Oh yes. Now, is another way I like to store tape is the layered method. There's a lot of benefits to this. One of the major drawbacks is that you don't have a continuous amount of tape because obviously it's been cut. I like to use vinyl instead, because I've said it in the video, but I know some people like to use wax paper. I've had my issues with wax paper before where it failed, where I can get this tape off the wax paper, or it would come off but no stickiness, and tape that's not sticky, you know, that really per se doesn't help. I had a bandage on my finger. The heat from whatever from that day or in the building I was in was causing the bandage to kind of slide. So I was like, oh, you know, I'm just gonna put some tape around it, right? I went in. I was just like, really, all this tape? It's not usable because the stickiness has well, it isn't there because the paper separated first. So basically, I was getting, you know, you sort of see it at the end of the roll of tape or whatever. You know what I mean, that kind of thing. That's kind of what happened, and that's why I decided to go with vinyl now, because vinyl doesn't, it will still pull away. So, still pulls away. I mean, because I think what happened was the paper, wax paper, because I had it under compression, being in a tin, something similar to that, it basically fused it together. So when I tried to unpeel it, the paper would separate from the wax paper part. So basically, I get two layers, but basically you're seeing paper fibers in between, and that would separate first. But that's why I've gone towards vinyl, and vinyl is easy to obtain. You can get it from a binder, big sheet, alright? A big one binder, that's good enough for lots of this. And of course the layered method I like to use for like tins, because it's thinner for the same amount of tape compared to the card method. Because it doesn't go around, so you're not getting the bulk. So now, obviously this is not a whole width of one, but right here I got 1, 2, 3, 4 layers. I could have like 4 feet of non-continuous tape that probably takes up like that much room, this much room. And the other thing is, because I have little pull tabs on there, like right here, for first aid type of reasons, you want to, if you're using tape, you want to be able to get to it fast. You might be bleeding on your fingers where you don't want to per se handle scissors or a knife, because you know you're not get blood over it, or maybe you only have one hand available for whatever reason. I like this because I could just rip that off, like this piece right here. Let's say if I was bleeding on my finger, you know, well, I grab a napkin, put it around my finger, I could just rip this piece of tape, the roll tape off, put it on my finger, and it's done. So that's why I like this method, because it's faster to use, providing you don't need per se a continuous amount of tape. So it's one of the things I like to do. I find it, again, it's one of those things where, I tried the whole perceived way of doing it, where it's like, oh, wax paper, right? Yeah. Well, that didn't help me. This one time that I'm like, I'm not dealing with that. Now, I was lucky at that time, because, I actually had actual, per se, bandages with me and stuff like that, so I did cover my cut again, but it would have been nice if I had this. I don't have to worry about this. I've never had issues with this. Now, like, I've never had the same issues that I had with paper, wax paper. Now, maybe it was the wax paper I was using, but, I mean, either way, all I know is this can work. And then it led to me kind of storing tape a different way and be like, oh, hey, why don't I layer it? And everything just came to mind. I'm like, oh yeah, now it's easier to rip off. I can use it if I just need a little bit. Like, so, like, something like this, I could just put in a first aid type of kit. So if I need a little bit of tape for putting it around a finger or something like that, I got it. Quick, easy. I mean, the vinyl, yeah, I can reuse this. I mean, not reuse it, but I can find it. Binders are cheap. Vinyl binders are cheap. So let me just put this first aid kit away. I mean, I got bigger sheets of it, ready to use tape. Oh, exactly so, Steve. See, that's why I say I'm not an expert in it, but through experience, I've learned, hey, this actually works. Or this didn't work. A perceived type of what everyone else does or something. I tried that out, with the wax paper. Maybe it's the wax paper I used. I don't know, but with this vinyl, I've never had an issue with it. I've never had issues of not being able to remove the tape. Because I think what happened is either the heat of my pocket, the compression, or whatever, kind of made the wax of the wax paper fuse to the sticky side, and when I went to go remove it, the paper kind of separates. Similar to kind of ripping like a sticker off or a label off. We've had those issues before, or seen something like that where, pardon me, where you try to rip it and it doesn't rip cleanly, and you see two parts, and has like kind of paper fiber on both sides. That's what I had with the wax paper when it was out, and ever since, nope, no more of that. I'm not going for that. I was lucky I had, a contingency plan. But let's say if I really needed that tape, that would have been bad if I really needed that tape. Especially if I was bleeding per se bad enough. So after that, I went back. I checked every kits I had, wax paper, tape, all did the exact same thing. I was just like, yeah, I'm glad. And I experienced it now when it's not important, not crisis. So now I'll be like, now I can trust it more. And not the wax paper, but the way I'm doing it now with vinyl. So that's the way I like to store tape. At least 3 ways. They all have their pros and cons. And, you know, since you guys are here, I put one of these biking lights on it, on this one. I figure I might as well use the space. So, you know, I got one of these bright red lights on it. So I figure I might as well use the space around the tape. You know, if I need the tape, well, I just undo the light. Go from there. Just give me a sec so I can I gotta put this back on the bag. Remembering to put the gear back. Gotta put the gear back. Oh yeah, exactly. Better than later. Yeah, exactly. I was like, wow. Just imagining I was bugging out and that happened, I'd be like, oh, all this tape. Like, I guess it's one thing to have tape on tape, but let's say if I didn't, or I had little strips of it that I just put on wax paper, it wouldn't have been good. At least now, with the vinyl, I can trust it. And I don't have to buy wax paper, because vinyl's one of those things, it's easy to come by. I mean, vinyl on a binder is quite big. I mean, it's 7 by 10 inches. That's a lot of surface area to put tape on. Of course, tape on tape will naturally come off, but tape on some air surface, that's a little bit different. I'm trying to remember to put stuff away here. And I always remember to put stuff away. So, let's say I talked about combustion, cargo tape. I guess I might as well talk about cover. Might as well. Might as well, right? Might as well. Cover. Covers not include clothing, a hat, basically shelter elements that keep you dry from the wind, from the water, keep the wind off, especially during the wintertime when you have harsh windshield. Clothing is definitely not help, or some sort of cover is definitely not help break that wind, because there's a little bit of heat that always escapes from the body and it's right next to the skin. There's a barrier of heat. But during the wintertime, when it's below freezing, wind blows that away, and you don't have that little bubble of heat next to you. And that's why you start, you know, if it's windy out and below freezing, you know, you start getting the effects of windshield. And of course, you know, if you're out there long enough and it's cold enough and stuff like that, you get frostbite, and yeah, all that painful cold stuff. But cover or shelter elements should also involve during the summertime. Like, if it's sunny out, oh, it's so hot, the sun's so hot. Well, make some shade. Maybe it's as simple as, you know, I'm gonna bring out something here. I have a story too. An umbrella. Now, in the sun, I guess they call it a parasol, but anyways, an umbrella. Now, honestly, this is a mechanical thing. It's not too, per se, great in the wind, but, you know, we all use them, and it's raining. We've all used these. They come in various sizes, from very small little drink size umbrellas, probably not great, to little parasols or little kid umbrellas, to the normal size umbrella, all the way to umbrellas that are meant for like patio decks, patio furniture, deck furniture, where there's a hole down in the center of the table. You stick the umbrella in, and it provides you shade. I guess I would per se consider that cover or shelter, because it's covering you or blocking the sun, so you get a little bit more shade, yet still allows air to circulate past you, so you're feeling the coolness effects, and you're not getting direct sun on you. Direct sun, you know. Oh yes, Joanne. Let me congrats you with on your half K. Here, let me actually write that. So congrats on the half a K mark, Joanne. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah. Anyone, we all remember that back then. We've all been there. Jeez, I gotta pour some coffee soon. Well, anyways, coming back to the umbrella. I mean, it's funny. I've actually shown videos. Well, not videos, but I have a video of me, per se, scrapping or reusing an umbrella. I mean, around here during the spring, summertime, I see umbrellas scrapped all the time, ditched. Well, now, whether or not you think it's unlikely to have an umbrella open in the inside, whatever, right? I'm not superstitious. Good thing I decided to check this umbrella, because it's stuck on somewhere. The little thing was stuck on there. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, right? We all know umbrella, right? You know, there's a sunrise right there. Provides you shade too. An umbrella can do that. You just put it up a little bit higher. Wind can still come by, cool you down. Yeah, you don't get the direct sunlight. Now, obviously, if it's raining, yeah, it's gonna keep a little bit of water off you. Usually, you have to angle your umbrella and stuff like that. Well, technically, now no one ever does it, and I've done this once, at least once, when I was younger. I was kind of people thought I was weird. Now, my uncle, he knew exactly what I was doing. He knew exactly what I was doing. But let's just say I used an umbrella during the winter time, and everyone's like, "Why would you use an umbrella during the winter time? It's not snow. It's not raining." True, but remembering that an umbrella is parabolic in shape. It's kind of funny. I'm hearing this hissing. It's like blocking the sound waves. Anyways, an umbrella, because it's so big, for the most part, like this is an average size type of umbrella. If it's windy out, let's say the wind's blowing this way towards me right now, the wind gets diverted around me, and because of that, remember what I said about that hot air that's right by, like, you know, quarter of an inch or a centimeter right by you, that kind of heat bubble you have, because the umbrella is blocking the wind, you're not getting the effects of the windshield, that bubble of heat that's around you during the wintertime doesn't get blown away. Now, my uncle, he knew exactly what I was doing. He's just like, oh yeah, it's great against the wind. Everyone else was just like looking at me like I was like on, you know, on drugs or something like that. He knew exactly what I was doing. So, I mean, now no one ever uses an umbrella during the winter, but in theory, and I've tried this at least once, it can help, especially if it's big enough. Like, I'll say the umbrella's behind me. If the wind was coming behind me, it's minus, let's say, you guys are no Celsius, so let's say it's minus 20 Celsius out, minus 30 Celsius out. Yeah, obviously it's cold, but you tag on, you add wind to that, it plummets the windshield, that temperature, more. You get that wind chill factor where, you know, it could be from minus 20 to minus 30, from minus 30 to minus 35, minus 40 Celsius, or 40 Fahrenheit. Something like this might give you some cover against the wind. Now, it's not gonna really keep you warmer, but at least get the wind going around you. So, right on my back, I still have a little bit of an air pocket. So, hey, thank you, so Steve, I appreciate it, man. Well, I'm assuming Joran's still here, and there's someone else here, I'm not sure. They didn't say anything. But, yeah. An umbrella, I mean, it's more useful than people give it credit for, I think. And from a reusing reusing type of mentality, there's actually quite a bit you can do with an umbrella. How I know this? Because I've tried. I've done it. I've done this before. All the way up to, which I've shown in that umbrella video, but all the way up to scrapping these canopies on the umbrella. Now, some of these umbrellas are quite, like, everyone knows that umbrellas are wide for the most part. Well, because they're so wide, there's a lot of material right there. Now, maybe the umbrella's broken for whatever reason. You know, it got bent out of shape, the metals are bent, right? Well, the canopy can still be used. Can still be useful too. Here's one right here. This is so big. This is huge. I mean, this is probably about 3.5 feet wide. Like, I guess the not the rate, the diameter of it going from one corner to the next corner would be 3.5 feet, or the radius would be like 1 and 1.75. This is huge. I've actually used this before. I've used it several times now. I can drape it around me. Now, this is not completely waterproof, but would keep me a little bit drier, all the way up to the winter time, where I drape it around me, put my jacket back on, and this kind of trapped air and dead airspace can keep you warm. So I've done that before. You know, let's say if I want to lay down on like some grass or whatever, I could just lay this out like something like cover and use it. I've used this before with shelters before, like, you know, lean-to type of configuration. No, not lean-to, A-frame. Where basically it's like this, and you have the cordage going for the center, or on the top of the triangle. So the triangle would be right here, and basically your ridge line would go across. I've used stuff like this as like a doorway, or, you know, a door. I've done that before. Lots of different things for this. If this was a bright color, now this is black, but I used to actually have one that's orange. If this was orange, this would be a 2 free feet signaling device right here. I mean, it's huge. I mean, like, you're probably not gonna get spotted or noticed, or at least be easier to see, because it's this big. So, of course, more cordage. So I keep this with me. I like this just because it's multi-use. It's not just for summer. It's not just for winter. But I can use it year-round. I have flexibility in it, how I can use it. I have options. I mean, like, with this, I probably could put stuff on the inside, right? Let's say, you know, let's put this skateboard wheel here. I can lay it in the center like this. Grab the outer circumference of the umbrella canopy, so the outer edges. Carry stuff. So I can carry stuff like this. Could be whatever, right? As long as it's not too heavy, I guess. Use the cordage that I have securing it. Arbor, Canadian jam knot. I love this. It's one of those knots I use all the time. It's very, very useful. I can put it around this. Remembering I got the skateboard wheel down here. Put it around there. Tighten this up. Now I can carry, per se, the skateboard wheel. Go from there. I've done that before with this, kind of make like a one of those, not a sash, but just a quick type of bag that I can do. Take that off. Oops. And I dropped the skateboard wheel, but yeah, you get the idea. And when I'm done with it, take it from the tip, fold it, fold it, fold it, fold it, fold it, fold it, fold it. Fairly compact. And put my Arbor Canadian jam knot that I already made around it just to keep it. So it's nice and compact. Put that back in my bag. I mean, I can use this to, let's say it's raining, and I per se already have rain gear on. I got a poncho on, so I don't need to put this on me. I can put this on my backpack. keep my backpack dry, so it's not absorbing moisture like rain, especially if it's pouring. Because if your backpack gets wet and it starts absorbing water, it's gonna get heavier, which means you gotta move that weight forward every single step. I get more tired. Versus if it was dry, it'd just be, well, it'd be the same weight. It'd be the same weight. So that's one thing I like to kind of try to reuse, because I tried it out, gain experience on using it or playing around with it, and see how useful it has been for me. Now, I do have another use for an umbrella that I didn't mention, but I'll wait for another video to show that off, or explain it, or disclose it. I still have to see if it is possible. But just stuff I keep in mind, especially when I'm trying to reuse resources. I mean, some of these resources, it's just like they're so abundant. I just like, and most of the time they get tossed. Well, let's see if I can reuse it, bring it back from that useless state. Because people are like, it's useless to me. Bring it back to a useful state by alternate, changing it a bit, removing certain parts from it, reusing it for maybe something else, or consider it as outside the box thinking. Hello, Amber. Thank you for dropping by. I very appreciate it. Now, Amber, I will show you something here. Now, no one laugh, but I was talking about umbrellas and how useful they can be. You probably didn't see it, Amber, but basically I had a story where basically during the wintertime I used an umbrella. Everyone else thought I was crazy. We were at a cemetery, so if you've ever been at a cemetery during the wintertime, well, it gets cold. I mean, like, yeah, you could take refuge in the vehicles, but sometimes you gotta tough it out, stay out. Now, I brought an umbrella with me. I was using it. Everyone else thought I was crazy. Like, what the hell? It's not raining? Well, my uncle, he knew exactly what I was doing. He's like, yeah, but it blocks the wind. And that's what I used an umbrella for during the wintertime. Because windshield. Less windshield, less wind, you feel a little bit warmer. Like, obviously, it's still gonna be, per se, minus 20 Fahrenheit out, but it's not minus 20 Fahrenheit with a 30-kilometer-hour wind hitting you. It's only 5, maybe 10. So you feel slightly warmer, because that windshield, you're not dealing with the windshield as much too. Especially some of that windshield that's hitting you in the face and stuff like that. So yes, welcome back, Amber. Guess I still. Anyways, so another I just mentioned is these umbrella canopies, depending on the size of the umbrella, these can have quite a bit of surface area. I mean, I have another one that I just showed that's 3.5 feet wide. That's pretty big. You don't even, right? Also, it's not, probably not gonna help you in pouring rain. But if it's just, let's say, scattered showers or something like that, or steady rain, it might keep you a little bit drier. So, you know, sometimes I'll be like this or something like that. Maybe cover something like, say, if I had a pile of wood, I could cover it. Use this to cover it. Use the umbrella and canopy to cover it that I have with me. During the winter time, I've actually used this as, you know, maybe it feels colder out and, you know, maybe I should have brought, you know, something else. I can drape it around me, 2 layers, like this. Now, obviously, this is a smaller one, but there'll be air pockets, and I have more layers of, per se, insulation. Alright. Let's go, Amber. No big deal. The video will always be here. So yeah, for something fairly lightweight, I mean, I'll even take better canopy that I have. Right here. I'll take the scale that I have. Put it on the scale. .1 ounces. Or 3.2. So it doesn't weigh that much. You know, maybe a 1/5 of a pound, but multi-use, so it's not just a single use. Not just for cover or shelter. And for me, when I see this stuff, especially if it's a very big umbrella, I try to scrap it or reuse it. Let's see, how long have I been going for? Oh wow, 2 hours, geesh. 2 hours and I have not many people here. For now. Yeah, coming up to the 2-hour mark here for my first comment or a message on the sidebar. That's okay. Maybe I should end this right here. Sort of said a few things in here, I guess. So I think literally this covers it. No pun intended, of course. Well, I guess no one's gonna see these earthings here, but just for the sake of foreshadowing or hinting or sneak peek or a teaser or a trailer, I'll show a few things here. Let's go. Such as this. Been working on this for a little bit. I just recently decided to make it. Now you're not gonna see what's in here yet. You gotta wait for the video. It's kind of a pouch type of kit. Like a sling bag. Something I could sling over me, use it, depending on what I'm doing. Maybe go scout with it. It's not quite done yet. I haven't perfected it, or not perfected it, get it to where I would like it for what it is, and for what I'm using it for. Similarly, here's another kit right here. Now, I've actually brought this out before. You just didn't see it in the video. But I actually had it with me, and it was quite useful. And of course, like I said, you're not going to see the contents yet. It's a surprise, but sneak peek, sneak peek. Oh, you could see. Zipper pull. This is, literally this is a zipper pull that's a zipper chains in it. And of course, I got a carabiner on here, stuff like that. Same thing, sling type of pouch, some sort of webbing type of material over it. I could sling it on me, bring it with me, and I got supplies, or per se, gear inside. That can be useful if I needed it. Of course, here I got a backpack. Now, like I said, you're not gonna see the contents yet, because I'm not gonna show everything on this live stream. I'll give you guys a sneak peek, teaser. Now, this bag is nothing special. It's got a waistband, which is useful. It's not too thick. This is no, per se, 2-day, 3-day, 4 or 5-day bag, but I do use this from time to time. And I generally use this more as a day-to-day type of bag, if I want to bring it. You can see the handle on the back, stuff like that. It doesn't, I kind of wish it had a sternum strap on it, but that's okay. At least it's got the waist strap. So you can see the waist straps on it. It's on me. Now, if I wanted to, pardon me, tying it up and stuff like that. Now, generally for me, this weighs about, let's say, 8 to 12 pounds, give or take. Depends. Sometimes I have more water, or I have water. Sometimes I have extra things that I have to bring for the day. You know, maybe some extra headlamps or whatever if I'm planning to be out overnight, or when the sun's down. More shelter elements. Let's say if it's wintertime, maybe I have extra gloves inside, just in case I feel like, oh hey, my hands are colder. Oh yeah, I got extra gloves, I can put them on, for example. And of course, you know, that kind of air stuff that you would normally see in a backpack like this. or in a pouch like those. First aid, fire kits, tools, cordage, shelter elements, stuff like that. I mean, and yes, there is gear inside. It's not full, but it's also not empty gear. So let me put this down here. Oh, yeah, of course. This is on top of stuff I have in my pockets, of course, right? I don't know. EDC type of items, so. My supplemental survival kit, yes. Which I guess I upgraded to 2.5 or 2.1 with the addition of this, which I made in one of the previous live streams. I have a video on it on the channel if you want to check out the supplemental survival kit version 2. So let's see here. Well, I think I'm gonna cut the yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. Because I need to take another break here. Perhaps I'll come back for another live stream hours and hours later. But we'll see. So, I guess we'll see who watches the video. Because, like I said, sneak preview. Sneak preview here. I mean, I'll show, you know what? I'll show one more thing. Shh, don't tell anyone. I'll show sneak preview of one more thing. Yeah, another backpack. No, I'm not really gonna show the backpack. Like, you could tell it's a backpack. It's not the same one that I just had because the other one, well, the other one I have on right now. So this is a separate type of backpack. Similar in many aspects to the one I have on, but clearly this is much heavier. The one right here, it's meant for longer term, at least in comparison to this. This is just more maybe a day, overnight type of thing, because it really doesn't have per se the food or the water to last for longer periods of time, whereas this right here is heavier because it's got more supplies in it, more things to help me out, meant as well, let's just say it's meant more as a evacuation type of bag, something I can grab quick, easy. It's closer by than some of the other stuff I have, assuming I can't get access to that other stuff. If I have more time, honestly, you know, I'm gonna bring the best I can, or the most things I can get. I mean, bring with me. But this bag is meant as, hey, I got maybe a minute at best to grab something for whatever reason. I mean, lots of people are like, oh yeah, enough. Bug in or shelter in place. Well, if your shelter or home or place of refuge is not safe, well, you need something to go with. And for example, something like a house fire, you know, heaven forbid it would ever happen be like that, you know. I got smoke detectors and stuff like that. Yeah, but let's say, I don't know, XYZ happened. Well, this bag that's sitting beside me that I don't have on, this is something I can grab relatively quickly within minutes. It's not as heavy as an airbag I have, but it's not too lacking in capabilities or functionality as the bag I have on right now. So basically this bag right beside me here has more, hence that's why it's heavier. Its base weight is, I think, 13-14 pounds. It has more stuff. More stuff to deal with water, more food items, more things to acquire food, fishing and stuff like that. So, alright, and yes, I can put it, I'll just put it on the seat here, without showing too much here. I'll show this, or this. I have it on. You can see I have it on. Bending my legs, standing on one foot, so actually I have to replace something here. One of the times I was using it, I broke the plastic belt buckle on it, like for your waist, so I actually have to fix it. Actually, since I already have it out, I might do it later on. Replace the belt, the buckle on it. And go from there. Now, one thing I do want to do with this is change it so it's a metal buckle, so I don't have to worry about plastic buckles breaking because I stepped on part of my bag and I didn't realize my buckle's there. Yeah, I've had that happen. It's not pretty. So yeah. Anyways, I'll put this down for now. It's got quite a bit of useful supplies in it. Speaking of which, I have to check on something while I'm here. Okay. Just have to make sure that tool's still on it. Yep. Yeah, I think that'll be enough of a teaser for now. So, you'll see those. And, you'll also see, I'll hint this out here, teaser, version 2.0 of this pocket type of first aid kit, boo-boo type of kit. You can see it says defense up on it. Now this is something I can put in my pocket if I want to. Now this is not meant for trauma or major bleeding, but maybe small little cuts, stuff like that. It can be useful. I'll put that to the side here. So you might see a video on this soon. here's another bag right here. No, you guys aren't gonna see the contents yet. Like I said. Because, like I said, I'm not showing everything on the live stream. Because I gotta save some time for an actual video. And besides, I can go into more detail in those videos. And besides, my webcam's not as great as my camera that I usually use for the normal static videos. So that's why I don't want to show it on live stream. So I can show you guys more detail, stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, sitting right behind me now, I guess there's 3 backpacks, 2 pouches or 2 sling type of bags, and there's still more. There's still more. Including, let's say, this fire chest I have sitting beside me. You know, and other stuff that I randomly try to make. More tins. More little kits. Now, anyone still watching here, whether you're watching live or on replay, or when it's been processed already, I'm not showing their sneak preview here. No, you're only gonna see parts of it here. So, yeah, that's something right there. No, you're not gonna see it yet. You might. I'm not sure if I want to show that yet, but that's something else. Basically, a sub kit. Something I threw together with just stuff. I was just like, hey, I might as well add this to this. I might as well add this option. Hey, I might as well add this option. It fits. I can nest it inside. Stuff like that. Let's see here. What else? What else could I tease you? A teaser for here. That's close by without getting it out. I guess there's a few other things, but they're more for creation mode, so I'll leave that out. You know, including some tool things, cases, stuff like that. I might have shown glimpses of it. These Plano type of cases and stuff like that, and drawers, drawer of cordage, drawer of like screws and nuts and nails and stuff like that, various sizes. I mean, I got that too. You know, maybe I'll show off my wallet one of these days. I still have to do that. Well, not do, but show a survival wallet kit now. My wallet is much different. And that's why I haven't shown it off yet, because it's much different. So I'm not sure if I want to show it yet. I want to, because I've actually been issued tags for it, but you know, sometimes I'm just like, well, not yet. Maybe in the future, or I might show parts of it. Stuff like that. So, oh, can't forget this harmonica that I'm still trying to learn how to play. yeah, I don't know how to play it. I just know how to make simple tunes. I don't know. Do I know how to play it? No. Am I good at it? No. Do I want to learn it? Yeah, it would be nice, but I think it would be nicer if I actually knew someone that actually plays it, where they can give me kind of one-on-one type of thing, where it kind of training or tips versus like a static video where I ask a question, wait so much XYZ time for it or response. Where if I found someone that actually knows how to play it, pardon me, I can ask them right away, get feedback. They can be like, no, CR, it's not quite like that. You gotta do this with your hands and all that stuff. I don't know. I hear about it, but yeah, I just hear about it. That doesn't mean I know how to play it. So let's see, what else? I guess that'll be it for now. Oh, you know, this right here. This is like my model right here. Or, this is the model for a creator. Impossible is nothing, champion. In creation mode for me, nothing's per se impossible, just very unlikely or very, very, very difficult. Or I don't have the right tools, or the technology per se doesn't exist yet. Especially if I can't create. Or I haven't learned about it yet. So I want to say special thanks to Amber and John homesteading here. Well, actually I should say Amber and John Homestead Project Center for briefly making an appearance here. Joran, So Steve, Megan, especially So Steve here, gave me lots of his time here. So, like always, as the world changes so much oneself to reach a new level of skill and knowledge, one must practice. A single person can't help everyone in this world, but you, the person beside you, me, doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter your, per se, experience in something, your gender, or your race, can help someone in this world with something, you know. Also, use your own common sense and use your own discretion for that. But so until the next video for me, it's peace out from the guy that's almost always, I wouldn't say always, but I don't want to just say almost always. That's always, almost always in creation mode. Virtually most of the time. Maybe not 100% of the time, but most of the time. It's peace out from CR. And thank you for dropping by. Take care. Enjoy the day. And keep on creating. And we'll catch you next time. Peace out.